Welcome back, everyone, to the Company Fears 2 replay cast, and this time we're going to have a 2v2 sent in by the one and the only Capen97 PogChamp. His friend is obviously Thunderhun, and yeah, he knows. He knows. Uh, yeah, okay. In the enemy team, we're going to have Jason from the CB clan and Ivan Durak from the No clan. And yeah, let's just say that he replied in kind to the fuck yourself. That's what he said. Anyway, we're gonna have the, the banter. Holy shit. We're gonna have, of course, UKW, Wehrmacht, Soviet, and Soviet. So two Soviets versus both Axis. MG42 already out for KP97, the glorious KP97, and because he's typing, he's not moving his MG42 around, and he's probably going to lose the MG42 because he's not going to put it into the right place at the right time. We have two Storm Pioneers from Thunderhun. Interesting choice. He's going to go ahead and block off the house in the center to any weird people who want to move there. I don't know. You normally see people moving in from the front of the house anyway, so I'm not too sure about the purpose of this barbed wire, but I guess it's there. It's fine. He didn't really have anything else to do in the meantime, so I guess planting down some barbed wire is always useful. In the meantime, he's also going to go for a Kugelwagen just to capture up the south. Of course, the problem with the Kugelwagen in the south of Liorno, which is the map, in case you haven't already noticed, is that there's all the trees, the obstacles, so it's really hard for the Kugelwagen to actually path around. It can get stuck into the trees, it can get ambushed by enemy troops coming in from the trees. It's just really, really not good, not ideal. So MG42 gonna get right into the middle house, which of course provides a decent amount of line of sight. Despite the fences that are surrounding it, there is line of sight coming over, so you have to be kind of careful. Here comes the Pino Battalion from Ivan Durak, of course, going for two Pino Battalions at the start, wanting to get the early game superiority against the Wehrmacht player. And it seems like it could be succeeding, but the MG42 is gonna basically put that dream to sleep. There's really nothing that he can do right now against the MG42 until the Clown Car comes out and until he has enough munitions to actually upgrade his forces with flamethrowers to actually put in the Clown Car. In the meantime, in the center, we have Thunderhun with his Storm Pioneers doing really, really well, taking out one of the engineers for Jason almost entirely. In the meantime, yep, here we see what's been kind of on my mind lately. That Kugelwagen really doesn't have the ability to run away in this very, very bad environment. It will be able to do that thanks to some of the... Oh no, I don't think this is a good idea. He might be trying to bait them in with the Kugelwagen to get the... Oh no, he's trying to actually push them so that they're not firing, but that was very risky. He's going to lose the Kugelwagen because of that. That's always a risky move against six-man squads because there's always going to be some model on the squad that is going to be able to fire at the enemy, even while the other 4 or 5 or however many it is are actually getting pushed around. And in fact, the Pino might be able to escape with no model losses. Let's see if they manage to do that. Yep, absolutely free on that Kugelwagen kill for the allies. Very nice for them. In the meantime, in the north, we see a bit of an advance from KP97, but he's going to get stifled by the actual Clown Car, and the Clown Car is going to be very scary. Of course, he has 2 Grenadier squads, and he doesn't have enough munitions for 2 Panzerfaust, but the enemy doesn't know that. So the double Panzerfaust is still a threat for the Clown Car, and he has to be kind of careful about it. In fact, we don't even see... Oh, he has upgraded the Flamethrower right now. And going in that early when the Flamethrower isn't even upgraded is definitely not the best decision. But here comes the upgrade, and the MG42 is going to have to try to escape. I would try to play Ring Around the Rosie around the building, because I don't think the machine gun's going to be able to escape like this. Yep, here comes the Flamethrower. Kills it. Flamethrower gets out and into the building. Interesting little play there. Actually, no. He was just holding out for the Pino Battalion. Pino Battalion manages to get into the house. Panzerfaust goes down with the Clown Car, but that's not going to be enough. The Clown Car is going to be able to escape because there's only a couple of Storm Pioneers coming in to help out from Thunderhun. And there goes an infantry squad from Thunderhun. Most likely a Volksgrenadier, as I do not see... Well, let's see. What was it? Apps units, Volksreindeer lost. So while he was busy microing in the center, he's going to lose a unit in the south. And also the MG42 might be going to the allies. No, there we go. It's a negative cover, so most likely going to be going down, yes, indeed, through all of these grenadiers. So at least the Axis will not be losing the MG crew. If they had lost the weapon, that would have been really, really bad. Because, of course, they're losing a couple of engagements. And if they had lost that very valuable machine gun, then that would have been really, really unsavory for them. Oh shit, here comes the clown car again, and the MG42 is going to have to retreat, but here comes the Panzerfaust this time, along with our Raketenwerfer, will destroy the clown car, sending it right into the building which is housing a Flamethrower Pioneer, which is going to have to escape to the other Flamethrower Engineer. Of course, engineers with a Flamethrower doing the extra damage against the enemies in the building. In the meantime, we do see the Raketenwerfer from Thunderhun. This has revealed the Raketenwerfer to the allies, so the allies are going to have to be a little bit more careful with their light vehicles. Of course, light vehicles doesn't seem to be what they're going for. They're going for early game infantry call-ins. See, defensive tactics from Jason. So he's going to have access, after the second CP, he's going to have access to a whole lot of different options, like the 120mm mortar, the Dushka heavy machine gun, and the M42 light AT gun, the 45mm, which isn't all that good, but it's there. It can work. And they have a way to escape. Yeah, no, they don't have a way to escape, but they actually retreat. Yeah, I don't think Jason really fought this through, because the reinforced steel barricade... Oh, this is gonna... it's gonna do the same for the Sturm Pioneers, is it? Okay, so the Sturm Pioneers are a little bit smarter, and they vault over and manage to escape. Very agile. They must have actually done their fitness training back in the fatherland. And yeah, in general, it seems like the Allies are pushing up pretty much across the front there. They've got the Germans on the back foot. Here comes the satchel charge, almost blowing up the entire house. Here comes the shock troops from Ivan Durak. Ivan Durak going for the counterattack tactics is definitely a good decision, because the counterattack tactics can work. Of course, the problem with the counterattack tactics is the B4 203mm howitzer. It is a whole lot of manpower to be invested, and so you're going to have to make use of it in a pretty good way. Otherwise, it's going to be a lot of manpower that you're going to be wasting for no real gain, just a sink of resources that won't really do much for you. And it's not that easy to use the B4 howitzer well, because unlike other artillery pieces, it only fires once. Just like, it used to be popular to say YOLO. In this case, YOFO. It only fires once. And that's not good. Here comes the Lukes from Thunderhun. Pretty good choice. Noticing that the enemies had gone for those shock troops, they had gone for the tier 1. In fact, both Soviet players going for tier 1 and no tier 2s to be seen, because Jason, going for the defensive tactics, wanted to go for those Dushkas. So the Dushka heavy machine gun was supposed to replace the Maxim, but nothing is replacing right now the Zis guns. There is the 45mm AT gun from Jason, but it's way too far away. It's on the other side of the map to do anything. And also, the M42 AT gun really isn't all that good at actually stopping light vehicles, because it only does a tiny amount of damage. I believe only about a fifth of the health of a light vehicle, and so the Lukes is going to be able to pretty much run rampant without any worries. I mean, a worry could be a minefield, but right now it doesn't really look like both of the Soviet players, either of them were thinking about any minefields, so no mines around. And oh, this guy is so lucky. He's actually been shot like so many times with Lukes, and he's gonna be able to escape. The Lukes is very worried about any potential dangers around here. Getting AT grenaded there would have been bad, but you know, the Allies don't have any conscripts either. I think that, I mean, at least one of those Soviet players should have gone for conscripts, and another one of those Soviet players should have gone with a doctrine that included Guards Riflemen. Because despite the nerfs, Guards Riflemen are still pretty much the best way to avoid something like this. You could have used the button vehicle on the Lukes to just slow it down while the other infantry units escaped. This does not take away from the fact that the Allies right now are controlling most of the map. They still have both of the fuel points. They still have most of the strategic points. And in the meantime, it seems like both the sides are trying to get more and more AT guns. In fact, we do see finally Ivan Durak going for the Support Weapons Campania. Support Weapons Campania, very useful, of course, if you don't want to be destroyed by light vehicles because of the Zis gun. but also kind of useful because of other reasons that we shall soon see if he wants to go for some Maxims. Maxims are going to be very useful against Thunderhunt right now because he has 2 Storm Pioneers, and the Storm Pioneers are pretty much shut down by suppression even more than normal infantry units. In the meantime, we're just going to have to wait. The M42 does do a little bit of damage to both the HQ2 Scott Car and the Panzer II Lukes, but they're going to be repaired quite nicely by those Storm Pioneers because they both have the support package. Support package giving them extra repair speed. Of course, very good. In the meantime, oh, this guy might go down. Very good help from the 120mm mortar, and the flamethrower will wipe out the last of the Volksgrenadiers for Thunderhun. Thunderhun replaces them with a Jaeger Line Infantry Squad, so that will alert the enemy that the Scavenge Doctrine has been picked. So there will be maybe the danger of an Ostwind. So what this should tell the Soviets to do is just get a few more AT guns, get a few more mines placed. Now that especially now that they have some munitions, they can really start planting down those mines. They could go for some more engineers. Ivan Durak only has 1 engineer, and Jason also only has 1 engineer, which is bad. You want more than 1 engineer pretty much all the time. In the meantime, very good usage of this AT gun to just pin down those vehicles, but the problem is, that's not the only thing getting pinned down. Also, the Soviet infantry takes a heap of damage from the MG42s. Here comes a grenade from the shock troops. Very good flank from the shock troops, but they're going to get counter-flanked by the Lukes, and so the shock troops can't really do much. In the meantime, there's another flank happening against the Allied AT gun, with the 2 Sturm Pioneers doing some really good work, and also a mine from the Germans doing some damage. Unfortunately, it does look like these 2 Sturm Pioneer squads... Oh, that was very anticlimactic. Very lucky for Thunderhunt that Satchel Charge only killed 3 of those Sturm Pioneers. I would have expected a lot more damage coming in. Very lucky there. And Lukes might be chasing down the Penals, but the M42 AT gun is going to deter it from that endeavor. In the meantime, the Allies still have full control of the south. I would like the Germans to send in some of their spare units, such as these engineers, down south to capture some points, because at this point, the Allies, of course, can't really spare that many units to defend there, and there goes the Scout Car, unfortunately, to the Satchel Charge. Very good usage of the Satchel Charge coming in from both of the Soviet players. Not something that you usually see from the Soviets, of course. The fact that there's a ton of Penals on the field is helping them out in that. Also, very good with the Panzergrenadiers, going to take out the AT gun. But there's also a Maxim over here with a fair few traps set up for the Germans, just in case they decided to come in and attack the position. There's a mine, TM35, and also 2 damage charges, it would seem, ready to meet the Germans. But what's also ready to meet the Germans is the death of the... Oh, there goes the Satchel Charge that's going to stick on the vehicle, and that does a whole lot of damage, actually, on that Luke, so it's going to have to be repaired. Very lucky that it doesn't die, in a way, because that was very close. And the AT gun's going to get stolen by the Axis. In the meantime, it's not going to get used for much in the last minutes. There hasn't really been a lot of activity for the Soviets in terms of the teching front. Both of the Soviet players have tier 3, and none of them seem to be using it, which is, in my opinion, a bit of a mistake. I think at least one of the Soviet players should be going for some tier 3 units, and that should be Jason, because Durak has the KV-1 heavy tank at his disposal, and so maybe a tier 4 or a KV-1 would be a better choice for him instead of using his fuel on tier 3 units. In the meantime, though, the Soviets seem to be kind of biding their time. Here comes a T-70 from Jason. So it looks like Jason will be going for that tier 3 vehicle earlier than his ally. Now, he's still got 172 fuel, so he could still go for a tier 4, and that's what I would be doing. Thunderhunt indeed going for an Ostwind, and the Soviets should have been prepared for that, but they're not. There haven't been any more AT gun purchases to replace the ones that were lost. In fact, Jason has no AT guns, and Durak has no AT guns. In the meantime, it does look like finally some PTRSs are going to be coming in for the Penals. The absence of PTRSs earlier and of guards earlier really hurt the Allies, and that was kind of a mistake for them. It looks like the Austin thinks that the demo charge is here instead of here, so that's kind of unlucky, because that demo charge might come in to bite them in the behind soon enough. Oh, it's just randomly exploded for no real reason. In the meantime, Su-76 coming out for Durak. Looks like Jason canceled his T-70 and is now instead going to go for a Tier 4 and a T-34. In the meantime, the Germans are making a pretty big mistake, in my opinion, by not pushing down the south. They're just letting the Allies have that huge portion of the map. And that's not only giving the Allies more munitions, because of course in the forest in the south there's 2 munitions points. It's also giving them more fuel through the strategic points and also through the fuel points, because no action has been undertaken by the Germans to take both the northern fuel point and the central fuel point. So that's kind of a mistake, in my opinion. In the meantime, Su-76 from Ivan Durak is going to be trying to chase down the Ostwind. I do not think that this is a good decision, because there might be mines, there might be ambushed AT guns, Raketenwerfers, whatever. There could be various different things that could be hunting down this Su-76 right now. In fact, the Su-76 doesn't even know what is behind it, and indeed, there is a Grenadier squad trying to come in behind to Panzerfaust that, very lucky for the Su-76, manages to retreat early enough, but it was a very, very dangerous situation for it. It looks like the Germans right now are pretty much in control of what is happening in the game, but they're not really doing much with that control. They need to be going for some of these points in the south. With some of these spare units, they're winning the engagements pretty much handily, and it looks like right now the Germans might be getting the first reverse in quite a while. Here comes the T-34. T-34, obviously a very, very useful unit, especially when the enemy has light vehicles, especially when the enemy has a lot of infantry at his disposal. T-34 gonna just charge through, not care about anything, dive into the Ostwind and kill it. In the meantime, Raketenwerfer plus Panzerfaust gonna destroy the engine and also deal quite a bit of damage to T-34, but there isn't really much that the Germans can do to chase down the T-34 right now, because they don't have any vehicles of their own that are able to destroy enemy armor. Kapen 97, the Glorious, is going for a Stug, and that's pretty good. Pretty good vehicle, of course, to take out T-34s if they're standing still. You could have detonated that demo charge, by the way, Jason. Jason could have definitely detonated the demo charge and killed... You could have done it again. So he misses 2 opportunities to wipe out German squads with that demo charge. Kind of sad. A really good place, by the way, for the demo charge, because nobody's really going to be expecting the demo charge to be there. And I'm pretty sure that the true size system applies to Minesweepers as well. So if a Minesweeper engineer comes up to about here, like, oh, I can't ping. Interesting. So you can't ping in observer mode. That is very interesting. Anyway, so yes, because of that, if a Minesweeper engineer were to come in and try to spot something, the house would block the line of sight of the Minesweeper. I'm not 100% sure, but like 99%. Su-76 taking damage from the Stug. Stug gonna try to chase down, misses the shot that would have been the killing blow, and might be able to get the kill, but he's out of line of sight. Tries to attack round, very good try, but not enough. In the meantime, these Penals have their Satchel Charge on cooldown, so very luckily for the Stug, the Satchel Charge on cooldown means that it's going to be able to escape. In the meantime, the Lux is vet-free, and is going to be trying to wipe out that last remaining guy on the MG. The stolen MG might be going down right now. Here comes the armor-piercing rounds from the other MG, dealing a little bit of damage to the Stug. I think they were meant for the Panzer II, but the Panzer II has more that is meant for it, aka a KV-1 and a T-34-76. T-34-76 gonna be getting a nice shot in, and the KV-1 is gonna be trying to finish it off along with the AP rounds from the MG. But there's also a Raketenwerfer round. Raketenwerfer gonna be pushing back the T-34, not the KV-1 though. The KV-1 manages to flank and is gonna be hit, however, in response by the Stug, Panzerfaust, and the tiny AT gun, which is not gonna penetrate at all. In fact, the Panzerfaust seems to not have penetrated either, but the KV-1 gets in a little bit too close and is in range of a second Panzerfaust, but the second Panzerfaust isn't coming in. In the meantime, the Allies still managed to take control of the south. It looks like this time the Germans tried to do something, but they were repulsed, but the KV-1 goes down. So again, another victory and an engagement for the Germans. In fact, a crushing one at that. But at the same time, the Allies keep their resource advantage. This is absolutely not too good for the Germans. The Germans need to do something about the Allies' resource advantage. They need to get down to the south side of the map. Yes, the south side of Chicago, where all the gangbangers live, and they need to steal some of their turf. They need to take some of these strategic points. They need to also harass the VP. In the meantime, the allies have managed to amass a 50-point lead in terms of VPs. Not a lot, but still a decent amount. And if the allies can rebuild their forces with the resource advantage and do something about, the Germans winning every engagement, which is partially due to the fact that the allies are playing a little bit less coordinatedly. The Germans pretty much are staying as one. They have units from both players in the north fighting pretty much 24/7. Whereas the allies, some of them are fighting in the north, but sometimes a lot of things are just sitting idly in the center. And I'm talking about Jason, by the way. Here comes the Katyusha from Jason, however, that's not sitting idle. It's in fact firing rockets right at the Germans in the center. And it does a little bit of damage, but not enough. Jason also loses an infantry squad. Interestingly enough, I do not know what that is. It looks like a Penal battalion. So Pino goes down. Pino, second one, might go down. Hits a mine and is going to get chased down like a dog by the Lukes. Lukes, however, doesn't really want to chase a little bit too far in because of the danger of something like this. D34 is coming in and destroying it. Lukes is up to vet 4, which at this point is, of course, very, very good because at vet 5 it will get the ability to suppress people. And it is indeed very close to vet 5. At vet 5, it becomes essentially a mobile MG. That's also got the ability to chase down and kill squads. So it is like the best MG in the game. However, the problem is, with the vet 5 with great veterancy also comes great responsibility, aka the fact that you need to keep it alive. And it is a micro-intensive unit to use, especially in the late game. Thunderhun is kind of lacking in terms of regular infantry, which is also kind of another thing that's allowing the allies to have so much map control in the south. There's a couple of Jaegers that he has, which are decently useful in fights. And they're also decently useful for capturing, if you can make use of their sprint ability, of course, and if you can make use of the fact that, well, they're kind of decent at finishing off squads because of their snipe ability when enemy squads are, enemy models are low on HP. Of course, the Jaegers are going to have the ability to instantly kill them. It's an okay ability. It can lead to a lot of squad wipes that the enemy may not necessarily expect, but still, to do that, you still need to send them around, and the Germans right now aren't really doing that. Thunderhun smartly, however, going for a support gun. There goes the T-34 from the Stug. So Stug, definitely a good purchase coming in from Kapen-97. Kapen-97 is stalling for a Tiger. The Tiger is going to be coming on the field. Interesting, he has gone for the Assault Support option, which isn't one that I've seen in quite a while. I think because he wants to get the Opal Blitzes. Opal Blitzes, which increase the resource income in a point, because he saw that they were at a bit of a resource deficit. So he wanted to go for the Opal Blitz to have a bit of an upper hand in terms of the resource game. The problem with that is, wait, what was that? That's a B4. That is the B4 indeed. Kind of lucky that pretty much no damage came of that. I think that a little bit more damage would have been welcomed by the allies. Now, see, the thing about the Opal Blitz is that it doesn't really give as many resources as a fuel cache would, and it has the same price. The price of the Opal Blitz is 200, and the price of a fuel cache is 200, or a munitions cache. But the fuel truck only gives the resources to the player who called the fuel truck in. So as you can see, right now, Kapen-97 is getting 3 extra fuel and 5 extra munitions compared to Thunderhun. That is because he has an Opal Blitz active. So instead, I still think that Kapen-97 should have gone for a fuel cache on the point. Of course, he wanted the extra munitions as well, but I would have gone for a fuel cache because it would have also helped out my ally. And Thunderhun desperately needs some fuel because he's lost his Ostwind. He has gone for all the buildings, so that means he's probably going for a KT. But that also means that he has... What squad of infantry? It looks like a Jaeger goes down for Thunderhun. But yes, because he had to build all of those buildings, that means that he had to spend a lot of fuel on those buildings that, of course, aren't really providing him with any combat power right now. So a bit of extra fuel income for both Thunderhun and Kapen-97 would have been useful, I think, and a fuel cache would have been a better choice than a Opal Blitz. That's just my opinion, though. In the meantime, Jason is really starting to struggle because of the fact that he has chosen one of those very, very early game focused doctrines. Very nice usage of that newly built Focus Grenadier, just coming up right there from the south, from the cover of the trees and the shack. Throws the grenade, gets out. That was a nice little throw. And finally doing what I was kind of hoping Thunderhunt would do this entire game, which is go south. Right now, Thunderhunt is going to get his Focus Grenadier crushed by the T-34. Might even get wiped, but the Focus Grenadier is going to be able to escape. I would like to see him go for some more of this. I mean, a couple more Focus Grenadiers couldn't really hurt for him. He has 790 manpower at his disposal. That is enough for 3 Focus Grenadiers, but I think that 4 Focus Grenadiers is a little bit too much. So I think that 3 is the lucky number at this point. Interesting usage of the Recon Overflight from Ivan Durak. He might be trying to spot for the B4 Howitzer. The B4 Howitzer is trained on the Jaegers, interestingly enough. Here comes the Katyusha on the Nothing. So that was a bit of a waste of a barrage from the Katyusha, which so far hasn't really been able to do much. No real impact on the match. Only 4 kills for the Katyusha. Really not all that much. Here comes some kind of artillery barrage. A 105mm howitzer bombardment, which of course fires more shells the more munitions you have in store. Doesn't really matter if you fire more shells though, if the shells are fired into the empty nothingness of space. Of course, that's exactly what happened. In the meantime, the Germans still absolutely behind in terms of resources. Wait, no. I'm speaking bullshit. They're behind in terms of munitions, but they're not behind in terms of fuel. Because the Germans were able to capture the north, and they were able to neutralize the center, but now that the Allies will be recapturing that southern, central field point, they will be getting their fuel lead back, I'm pretty sure. At least the Germans seem to be a little bit more proactive in the south. Of course, that's exactly what the T-34s are for, to counter-harass any unit that's trying to harass you in areas of the map that you're normally not stationing troops in. The T-34 has the ability to move in really, really quickly and destroy enemies. And then get out, go do something else. It's also cheap, so it's not really the worst thing to pull out from the main fight. However, still, the T-34 having to move around is still kind of a victory for the Germans. So I would still like to see them be a little bit more proactive, a little bit more annoying, if you may, with the harassment moves. In the meantime, it seems like the center and north of the map are kind of a bit of a stalemate. Like, the Germans just try to move in, the Allies respond, they manage to do something, but then the Germans come in and win another engagement, and the cycle is repeated once again. Might be changed by... Here comes a very nice bundle grenade. Oh, lots of damage on those Penals. Penals are going to have to retreat along with the MG42 from Ivan Durak. Ivan Durak also trying to use a Su-76, which is now up to Vet 3 to repulse the Stug. Doing quite well at it, but however, here comes a Jaeger Line Infantry Squad with a PTRS, of course, going to do a little bit of damage to Su-76, which is trying to use its artillery barrage to force away these Grenadiers. KV-1 tries to come in, but runs straight into 3 AT guns, and I'm counting the Stug as an AT gun. Also, there's a 4th one coming in, a Raketenwerfer. KV-1 going to have to retreat at this point, really nothing that it could do. Su-76 also goes down to the AT gun swarm of the Germans. And I think that, Stug manages to come in and destroy the KV-1. Very good job from that unit. Also, a bit of flank from the T-34s is, looks like, not even launched? Or what is this T-34 even doing? I'm not sure. A little bit too much of that vodka for Jason, and that's going to be detrimental to him, because only one T-34 goes in, and when only one T-34 goes in, things don't usually go all too well, but it does look like things will be going decently well, at least. The Stug, veteran Stug, goes down to the T-34's flank and chase, so that was a bit of a fair trade, of course. In fact, it was actually a good trade for the Allies, because it's not very good to lose a Stug, a veteran one at that, to a T-34 that was unvetted. Of course, if we think about the fact that earlier on the Allies had lost a KV-1 and a Su-76, then the trade starts to go into the favor of the Germans a little bit more. And will the Germans ever be able to actually capture some points and hold them? I'm not sure. I'm thinking that finally, with all of these fresh infantry squads coming straight off the reinforcements at the base, and the Tiger, and soon the King Tiger, I'm thinking that the Germans finally have a bit of an advantage over the Allies, even in terms of the actual map control game, because that's really what they need the advantage in. There goes the LEIG support gun from Van der Hun. Very good usage of that so far. It was a really good purchase. I think that because, in general, the support gun, whenever there's a bit of a stalemate going on, is exactly the thing that you want. In the meantime, these Panzer Grenadiers are going to go down to the T-34. If the T-34 gets unlucky, though, these Panzer Grenadiers might not go down, and indeed it is getting unlucky. Why a sniper? I'm not sure about the sniper purchase from Jason. In fact, here comes the Tiger. And that 320 manpower that was spent on a sniper, 340, 360 manpower that was spent on a sniper could have been spent on an AT gun. In fact, Jason doesn't even have the support weapons Campania. The support weapons Campania is the only building for the Soviets that you cannot possibly skip. The only one. You can like do without the other ones, but the support weapons Campania is the one that you need. You just cannot live without the support weapons Campania. You cannot live without AT guns later on. It's just something that you need to have. There goes the demo charge. Doesn't really kill anything. Very unfortunate for the Allies, but also they had missed opportunities to use that demo charge a little bit better earlier. So that was also their mistake, not just them getting kind of unlucky. Here comes a bit of howitzer, but a bit of howitzer isn't going to be enough to save that AT gun. There goes the pack. And yeah, they need those AT guns up and running. Ivan Durak doesn't have any AT guns, if we don't count, of course, the Su-76. He does, well, Jason also doesn't have any AT guns, and he also doesn't have the ability to produce AT guns, and I'm actually not counting the M42 AT gun, because that's going to do nothing against the Tiger. You need AT guns, because otherwise the Tiger can just go in, brush away the T-34-76s, do pretty much the same with the Su-76. The Su-85 is an interesting counter. It's going to be able to counter the Tiger, but the problem is, it's Lee or no. It's only going to be effective in the north, because in the center there's a bit too many shot blockers, and in the south, yeah. So you're going to have to be very careful about the usage of that Su-85. In the meantime, the Tiger is going to be basically doing all that much damage. Here comes the B-4 howitzer. Also doesn't really do a lot of damage. So far, the artillery units from the Allies really haven't been coming into play all that much. I mean, I say that, and the Katyusha barrage decrews to German weapons. But at the same time, I mean, the B-4 has been on the field for like, what, 10 minutes, and it's only gotten 5 kills, so not really the best possible outcome for him. I would have targeted more at the battle group headquarters, trying to destroy either the battle group or the Schwer Panzer quarters. If the Allies even know where the Schwer Panzer quarters is. Yes, they do know. Okay. So they should have tried to at least do something about the German teching. I mean, that's what sometimes the B-4 can be used for, and considering the not too lucky results that they've had so far using it against units, I think that that would have been a particularly decent choice. But hey, what am I to say? Anyway, here comes some shock troops. Blasted. Absolutely blasted by the 88mm of the Tiger. In the meantime, there goes the other two men of the... wait. Stug down. Stug down. Rip. I did hear a fucking hell from the Stug. So, yeah. Anyway, shock troops and Stug both going down. So the old vestiges of the mid-game are basically just being erased by the late game. And the late game so far favors the Axis. Although, again, why aren't they just pushing down and capturing some points in the south? I will never know. Of course, in the north, there's 2 VPs. So at this point, now that they have control of those 2 VPs, and I don't foresee the Allies being able to retake those points anytime soon, they're going to have the VP lead, and they're going to actually be able to win the game through VPs. In the meantime, well, the Allies just need to stall, because, I think that, that's just very unlucky. It's not Ved 1. Look at that, it's so close to being Ved 1, and yet so far. If it was Ved 1, it could use the direct fire attack on the tiger and smash it. But at the same time, there's also the big tiger. The small cousin that's also really dangerous and possibly psychopathic. The king tiger, of course, not much for the allies to counter it. Again, they needed AT guns. The allies at this point just kind of need to stall. Try to stall, plant down mines, try to get the tigers to be damaged and having to retreat and repair all the time. And then, yeah, just try to go for a lot of Su-85s, a lot of AT guns. And there goes the P4. And I'm thinking this is going to be the surrender. I mean, yep, there goes Ivan Durak. And I'm guessing the Jason's also going to go down very soon. Now, the problem with the allies really was that Jason went for an early game focused doctrine. Ivan Durak went for a doctrine that kind of required a bit of a stalemate situation to use the B4 effectively. He could have gone for shock rifle frontline and be a little bit more... I'm not your mate, comrade. And be a little bit more safe with shock rifle frontline. And then they decided to be a little bit weird with their usage of the tier 3 and 4. I mean, Ivan Durak going for all of those Su-76s was a good idea at the beginning, but then she coupled them with the KV-1s, at which point I thought, why not just go for the Su-85, which coupled with the KV-1 would have been a little bit more coherent. Of course, he also used the KV-1s way too recklessly and got them killed a lot of times, which depleted his plentiful fuel even further. At the same time, Jason went for a tier 4, of course, because he was defensive doctrine, so he didn't really have any late game call-ins, so he had to go with tier 4. He went with 2 Katyusha, well, only 1 Katyusha, which didn't really do a lot. A couple of T-34s, which he used very defensively, and didn't really end up doing much. And then at the end, also didn't really go for a tier 2, despite the fact that he was defensive doctrine. So he needed an AT gun. Like, despite the fact that he has the M42, you need the AT gun. I mean, even with doctrines with guards riflemen, you need AT guns. You just need 57 or 75mm Zis guns. In the meantime, there goes the Stug to one of those T-34s, and the Tiger is gonna be trying to survive. Oh look, Zis Freeze are useful. They're really, really useful. Who would have thunk it? Maybe you should have bought some of them. That's what I think about Jason's play. I mean, everything else he did pretty well. He definitely played with infantry a little bit better than his ally, but... Well, I mean, I say that, but his ally actually kept his units alive a little bit longer. So, no, maybe not. Kind of unfortunate overall that he didn't go for some AT guns, because would have really helped. AT guns are good. Buy them. But the Germans, I mean, they went for the late game. They stalled. They came. They won. So yeah. I want to thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed the cast. I mean, this guy. I'm not sure if he's the luckiest or the unluckiest. Because, I mean, he's the luckiest because he's just been sitting here, you know, not really getting shot at and shit. Not really having the danger of him getting horribly mutilated or something like that. But at the same time, he's just been sitting here freezing. Like, just imagine being him. I'm like, I wish I could do like some walking, some push-ups to keep myself warm. And no, he's just like, you have to sit here for the final round. Yeah, that's just kind of a sad existence. So I want to thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you learned something. And I'll see you soon.